Hey everybody, Mike Steele here with BBQ Champs Academy, and I got my co-host, Mr. Lee Hickle,
Yeah.
Red
Hey, Mike,
Mule's
what's going
Barbecue.
on?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited about tonight's show. I think we got a legend on here. I guess there's no other way to put it. Harry Soo is a legend. So,
He
and
is a legend. Not
I know
not
you.
quite the OG, but pretty much the OG. Yeah,
He's not quite the OG. He was the new and up and coming OG. Let's just put it
sure
like
is.
that. He's the
Yeah,
kind of guy that used a lot of technology, and he's kind of like my speed, man. You know me, I'm all
that's
about
right.
that kind of stuff. So he was kind of telling us some of the stuff that, before spreadsheets were even popular, he had like one of the original versions of it for Microsoft, is what he was just telling us. So
That's right. Yeah.
that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So
It
anyway,
is.
hope you've been doing good. I know you told me you're getting hammered with rain down there.
We are. So if internet kind of goes a little slow on my end, I can't control that. But yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting hammered down here with rain.
Well, if it kicks out, we'll let you know and we'll get you to
You
log
bet.
back in. So we got a few folks on here. Hugh, thank you for being with us. Justin, thank you for joining us tonight. Mr. Bob Zaney down in
Ah,
South Louisiana and Lafayette.
that's it.
Appreciate you being here. Mr. John from well, it ain't the frozen tundra of Wisconsin, but from Wisconsin. It's probably warmed up a little. Glad to have you
Right.
here. We got Mr. Bud Brown. Hey, Bud, how are you doing, man? I hope you're doing well, man, in New Mexico tonight. All right.
Las
Looky here,
Cruces.
Lee.
Yeah.
Lee, do you know this guy?
Oh my goodness. What's up,
Huh?
Paul? Yes,
Paul,
sir.
man. There we go, Paul. Glad to have you with us tonight. So appreciate you being here.
Carl
Got
Davis,
willing
cast iron cookers. He's
cast
from
iron
down here by
cookers.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
glad to have Carl here. Got Mr. Allen here. Appreciate or Allen. Yeah, appreciate you being
Alan.
here, Allen.
Hmm.
From
Yeah.
Wichita, Mr. Jason White. There he
There.
is, man, alive. We're gonna be
Mm,
seeing you here pretty soon, Jason. And don't forget
that's it.
tamales. Need tamales. So
I need some boudin also and
yeah, and he's
sausage, by
bringing
the
me
way.
boudin. I told him
Yeah,
bring me some boudin. I've got already got 2 dozen of tamales ordered and boudin. So
I need some of that special sausage for the American raw.
that's it. Emily, thank you for joining us. Mark, we
Yeah.
appreciate you being here.
What's going on,
Uh,
Mark?
yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
And we
Yeah, he
got
and I had lunch and his lovely better half last week in Port Aransas. I
there.
just
You
live
go.
across the river from him, or
There
from
you
his
go.
vacation spot. So good to get with
Awesome.
him.
Good. Got Mr. Jason with us tonight.
Yeah.
Got Mr. Matt with us as well. Thank you for being here. Got Mr. Merv joining us. Mr.
Sup?
Stephen Peacock, Saginaw, Texas. I
Yes,
did not
sir.
realize that Stephen and James Dotson's from the same city until yesterday. James, or Stephen, you're gonna be getting a check in the mail. Thank you so much, sir. So he's
Mm-hmm.
part of our pro staff on Barbecue Champs, and I do appreciate
He's
Stephen
doing
so
good.
well. He
Yeah.
gives us a lot of shout outs, and we really do appreciate it. And he is an incredibly good cook. So thank you, Stephen. Be checking your mail tomorrow, the next day. Who else go? Jason, yes sir. He's
Yeah.
bringing it. That's good. Toby,
Nice.
thank you for being here, Toby. We got Mr. Bobby. Thank you, brother. Come
Hmm.
on now, and congratulations, man. I know you done made one of them big. I think he actually retired his PK. He's cooking on something else. I can't remember which grill it was, but
Uh-oh.
he's done joined forces with somebody. I think they're gonna be throwing some serious stakes down. But thank you, Bobby, for being here.
Oh yeah, he's
And
got that one.
yeah, there we go.
Hmm.
I got Jared. Thank you for
Jared,
joining
yeah,
us. Joe, appreciate it.
from
And
Buffalo,
let's
New York.
see. Don't tell boss I'm here. I'm supposed to be at work. That's fine.
Yeah.
And Bud's from Saginaw. Man, we got 3 of them over there
Oh
from
my goodness.
Saginaw. Dang. We got Lucas from Australia. Thank you for being here. And we got Michelle. Thank you for
That's
joining
it,
us.
Michelle.
Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go. So,
Team B&B.
anyway,
Fly
all
fly.
right, we got quite a few folks on here. I really do appreciate it. Want to give a real quick shout out to our partners, and then we're fixing to jump into this. We got a lot of questions for this man tonight, but we
We
always
sure
want to
do.
thank Dustin at the Barbecue Store. He's always doing an amazing job keeping the rubs in stock, always promoting barbecue competitions. Dustin does a lot for the barbecue cooker community. We appreciate him. David with Gunnar Wilhelm Knives. Miss Gail with Daigle's Barbecue sauces and glazes and Raider Red Meats. If you're looking for Prairie
Mhm.
Fresh, I keep telling you, I have done sent a cajillion people there. They have got what you need. They carry actually the Prairie Fresh Prime product, so it is some good stuff. Got
Right.
Mr. Travis with us. Got Mr. Jason. Harry is a true barbecue scientist. He took rapping with tallow and turned it into a 12 video experimental series. Yeah, I think I remember seeing something about that. And Corby, thank you for being here as
He is
well.
very
Yeah.
detailed.
Yeah, he's geeked out like me. Me and him would probably really get along because, man, I'm this guy that's way out in left field as well. So
Right.
we'll find out. My cooking class is getting closely. I don't know if I'm going to do it August the 23rd or if I'm going to do it September. Let me see. I'm looking
Ooh,
at 2 dates. August the 23rd. I'm trying to get away out of August because it's just so dang hot. And I'm not going to do it Labor Day weekend. Too many people's traveling. So we may go the 13th and 14th of September. And it's, I haven't really
okay.
put an official post out about it, but the class is almost completely full. I don't have any spots left. So we'll be making an official post out of that. So be looking for that. And I promise you, I'm going to geek you guys out like y'all have never seen and show you equipment that has never even been talked about in the barbecue community. So I'm just letting you know. This is nothing that you've seen on Barbecue Champs. This is nothing that you've seen in any class that you've ever taken. I promise you, I'm going to show you things that's going to probably go, what the heck do you do? Lay awake at night? Yes, that's me. I'm the guy that set 2 world records drag racing, developed a nitrous nozzle, got a patent on it. So, yeah, I'm that guy. And I'm going to probably be a lot like this guy right here, Mr. Harry. So,
Hey guys,
hey, Harry Soo, how are you doing, brother?
doing wonderful.
That's good, man. I'm so glad that you joined us. Me and Lee were all kind of talking. We all looked up to you, and we were well, before we even knew what barbecue hardly was. And you
Right.
have had quite the illustrious career of cooking. I don't know how many years it spans back, but I think all of us would probably like to know a little bit. Like, you're originally from Singapore.
I was an international student, ended up in Texas Tech after losing my job as an airline pilot. I worked for
Okay,
Singapore Airlines, so I flew 747s for a while because of the oil crisis in the world. There was a time in America where you could buy gas on even and odd days. So I hail from that era. Most of
right,
your listeners may not
Okay.
be aware that was the time.
right.
And
Wow.
I had to retrain for a new career. I learned that there was something called a computer. No idea what it was. I enrolled in computer engineering at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
My first week as an international student, my classmate took me out for brisket. And I took one bite of that brisket and I thought, oh my God, where have you been all my life?
Right.
That's
Never
what.
had something so amazing. And that moment led me to experiment with cooking because I didn't have any pedigree. It wasn't like my grandpa taught my pa. My pa taught me to cook barbecue. I was
Right.
cooking barbecue like a computer hacker.
Right.
And if you have a gym locker and you start with 000, you go 001, 002, 003. Guess what? It eventually opens. So I figured, I could crack this secret code of barbecue. So I would cook something with salt and pepper, and I'll write results. Salt, pepper, chili powder results. Salt, pepper, chili powder, sugar results. Salt, pepper, chili powder, sugar, garlic powder results. So I built all of these different things into the first spreadsheet, which was the grandfather of Microsoft Excel. So for those of you who are as old as I am, and I did punch cards programming, it was a product called VisiCalc. So Lotus 123 is the father of Microsoft Excel.
I remember
VisiCalc
that.
is the father of the Lotus 123. So I go back into the early 80s. So I kind of date myself when I say that. But that's kind of how
Wow.
it started by completely by accident. I was creating all these different formulas using the combinations of like Lego blocks. Like one would be salty, one would be sweet, one would be spicy, one would be paprika, one would be like a seasoning like garlic. So I would build all these flavor profiles for fun, and I did that while I was at Texas Tech and tried to create that wonderful Texas brisket. Had no idea that it was any good. I cooked it for
Right.
many years,
Right.
Right.
family and friends, and I had a secret special superpower at work. I work in a government entity, and what I would do is I would bring the barbecue to work, give it to the purchasing department, the warehousing department, and my stuff all my projects just went through and got processed. And everybody was wondering, wow, how can this guy work in government and yet get that kind of efficiency and speed? People were
Right.
jumping over hoops to try to service my requests.
Wow.
Right.
That's
So
pretty
the secret,
cool.
those listening out there, if you work in government and
Speed.
you want to get things done, remember
Bribe
pork
'em.
fat rules.
That's right. That's right.
Bribe 'em with food.
That's
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's a
Wow.
secret sauce if you work in government. And because a lot of times, sometimes in government things happen slowly, there's a lot of bureaucracy. But if you want to cut to the chase and you want your purchase orders to rise to the top of the queue, without a 3-month wait. You just send some barbecue to the purchasing department. Voila, all your invoices get cut.
I
When
love it.
invoices paid, you just send some to the accounts payable department. All your invoices get paid on time.
Oh, isn't that something? Man, now I know what to do for these guys that are dragging their feet, Lee.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm actually working
Good.
on a little kind of
Wow.
side project. I call it the missing manual of working in government.
Wow, that
I'll
is
reveal
awesome.
all these tricks that I used over the years to become successful.
Right.
Oh,
That is,
so Paul Holden says it works. I got a supporter
It
right there.
works.
You know,
there you go.
the secret to getting things done in the business world is through people's stomachs.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
bet.
here we go. Food is the best currency.
Yep.
Oh,
that's
you're
it.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so-
if you sometimes barbecue. Barbecue is something that's not everybody makes, like briskets and stuff. So it was something that worked for me, and I attribute my career progression because
From
of
that.
barbecue.
You bet.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Harry. When did you enter your first competition?
I entered the first competition by accident. I am self-declared accidental pitmaster. I have no business cooking barbecue. One of my project managers was at my project team meeting on a Monday morning, and she said, "Hey guys, I saw a great movie over the weekend. It's a movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson called The Bucket List." And she said that because we're a bunch of IT nerds, we should do something with our life before we kick the bucket.
Yeah.
And they all looked at me and say, "Harry, you're a nerd. So we'll give you 2 stretch goals for you to pursue. Number one, you're an introvert. You're always a guy in the back room. You have to take a stand-up comedy class to do stand-up comedy. And your second stretch goal is because you always bring barbecue to work. You need to enter a barbecue contest like the one you see on TV where they bring in the food on those white styrofoam trays." So I kind of forgot about the meeting, but a month later, I was summoned to a status report meeting, and I was admonished for not going through my bucket list.
Wow.
So I decided, I'll just cook one contest to get them off my back. So I found a contest in Palm Springs. I brought the application form back to work and I said, "Hey guys, I'm doing my bucket list." And they looked at me and they said, "What did you call your team name?" I said, "Oh, I called it the bucket list because after the movie, I'm
Right.
going to do one time only, and after I'm done, it's over. I'll forget about it." And they said, "Let's have fun with you, Harry. Let's come up with a funky team name." So my coworkers from the South, and in the South, when you eat something you like, you want to go slap somebody.
Yeah.
So they said, "Why don't you call it Slap Your Daddy?" So I said, "Daddy is the stupidest name I can think of on earth. But to humor you, and I'm going to use it only one time, who cares, right? I'm just going to go do my little thing and be done, check off the list."
Right.
Lo and behold, I go there, and with all the little things I had done over the years, I won that contest, just like that.
Oh, wow.
So then that set me on this whole journey, and I can't believe that was 15 years ago. I've lasted 15 years in this crazy world of meat, fire, and smoke.
Wow.
That is
Met some of the
awesome.
best people in the world.
Oh, that is phenomenal. I mean, that is the story right there. So how did you? So I guess you cook, you grand champion it.
And next thing you know, I win the KCBS team of the year. I win the Ranchers Reserve team of the year. So it's kind of like almost like surreal. And then all of a sudden, I'm cooking a contest in Northern California at 12:25. My phone rings, so I pick up my phone and say hello. And I thought, who would call me 5 minutes from rib turn-in, because rib turn-in is at 12:30. So I said, it must be one of the other teams trying to prank me to try to get me DQ'd. So I said, hello. And the guy said, "Hi, my name is John. I'm a TV producer." So I hung up on him right away because I knew it was a prank. It has to be a prank. That'd be one of my other teams trying to prank me at 12:25, right? 5 minutes, I'm doing my return in.
Right.
On the drive back on Sunday, I told my partner, Mark, "Hey, I thought I had a dream in the middle of rib turn-in. Some guy called me, said he's a producer or some kind of TV producer." Then I looked at my phone to the call. I said, "Oh, oops, that somebody did call me." It was from New York area code. So I picked up the phone and I spoke to a guy named John Marcus, and he was a producer of BBQ Pitmasters. And he said he was going to sign me on, put me on a show. And I had no idea why this stranger would call me out of nowhere and put me on a show. And I just found out many, many years later from John that he has spoken to Carolyn Wells.
Wow.
So Carolyn Wells bumped into me in one of the contests in California called Stagecoach. And there's hundreds of people I meet at every contest, and I try to be nice and say hello to everybody.
Right.
So I had no idea who Carolyn Wells was, and she came up and I was kind to her, and she remembered me, and she told my name to John Marcus, and John Marcus signed me on the show sight unseen. talk about like really being an accidental person on a TV show.
Right.
No, John had spent 2 years finding Myron, finding Leanne, finding all these Johnny Trigg and all these world stars like Professor Tuffy. And I was like the last minute addition, like the fish out of water guy.
Right.
And if I had known that I would be on a show with 3 world champions, I would run for the hills. It would be like a reality basketball show with LeBron and Steph and everyone else.
Right.
I had no business doing that. So when I got the offer from John Marcus, I went and scolded my coworkers. Said, "Look at what you guys did. You got me bucket list, and guess what happened? Now some guy wants to be on TV, and I have no idea what to do on TV. I've never been on TV." So my coworkers told me something very, very magical. They said, "What is the worst that can happen to you, Harry? You go on national TV and you make a total fool of yourself."
Right.
And that saying now has stuck with me because I think that as human beings, we never want to be uncomfortable. And I learned through that experience that in order for you to grow, you must be uncomfortable.
That's right.
When you go to sleep at night, you're comfortable, you really wasted the day because you did not grow. The only way to grow is to put yourself in uncomfortable positions.
That's it.
And over the years, what I've learned is that was one of the most important life skills I learned. Don't be comfortable. Be uncomfortable because when you're uncomfortable, you are growing, you are learning.
Yeah, I tell people a lot of times they'll ask for stuff. I was like, get out of your element. When you get out of your element and you're not comfortable, you'll adapt and you'll overcome. And that's what makes you stronger for anything that life throws at you. I don't care what it is. That's just one of my philosophies I've always had. Get out of your element. When you stay in that same rut doing the same thing, that's when you can get complacent. And when you start getting complacent, you stop growing, and then just everything. So that is a really great story. I mean, I never knew that. That's that we just see, hey, it's Harry's on TV. Now we know the whole thing of how you got there. So
yeah, and it also brings up the second point I want to make is that in life in general, you should treat every interaction with another human being with respect and grace.
Yeah.
Because you never know who you're going to be talking to.
That's right.
Like that whole journey, meeting Carolyn Wells and not knowing who she was, but being kind to her, that completely changed my life. And I meet randomly thousands of people. And now, because I have a YouTube channel, I have all these people. I go around the world. I was in Germany recently, and people come up to me and hug me and say, "Oh my God, who are you?" He says, "I'm from Italy." And you don't know who I am, but I watch all your videos and I religiously watch everything you do. And I say, "Oh my God." So my little YouTube channel has gone around the world. And people have value and they get something out of it, which to me, that's priceless because life is really not about you. Life is really about giving back and giving away what you have.
Right. That's awesome. Man, that is a great story. So you get called in, you're going to go on BBQ Pitmasters. Now, this was when they were actually they kind of got away of the teams going through like Robbie Royal and David Boskin, those guys. I think they kind of, after like season 6 or 7, they kind of broke off and started going to the barbecue competitions. Mm-hmm. I think that's when I first seen you on the scene. I remember there was one, you had all your WSMs. It was pouring down rain. I guess that was your dad or your brother that was with you. And I think it was your dad or something that was helping you. And all the fires went out and you was adapted and overcome. Was that the part of BBQ Pitmasters that you was on when they was competing?
Yeah, BBQ Pitmasters was unique because John Marcus, the producer, and he's an Emmy Award producer, he wanted to do something unique where there's no script. Yeah. So if you're funding a barbecue series, it's really scary when there's no script or no storyboard. So the idea was he had 16 videographers and producers and cameramen and microphone people follow us around. 16 of them follow us around with no set agenda besides shooting as much footage as they could. So they essentially shot 80 hours of footage and cut it into 40 minutes. And so basically it's kind of scary. You bring all that footage back into the editing room and you try to make a storyboard out of this random footage. So that was a very successful concept because Pitmaster Season 1 really had the look and feel and the energy and the dynamics of a real contest.
Right.
And then subsequently, I think that format was kind of modified and everything was shot in the soundstage, which doesn't capture the kind of variability that goes on, the energy and the excitement and the enthusiasm that happens in a barbecue contest.
Right. Right. That is amazing. I've learned so much from Heritage YouTube channel. My favorite video might be him cooking some backyard barbecue with Baby Back Maniac. T. Roy cooks them mother. Yeah, that's awesome. So I know you was on at least 3 or 4 different times that I can just remember. I mean, I remember that you was up in. It was freezing cold one time. I don't know if it was up in Maryland or sometime. I remember there was another time it was pouring down rain and lightning around you everywhere, and y'all are trying to hold the tents down. I mean, I think that was pretty cool that you, even though you literally weathered the storm. And here's the thing, me and Lee was talking about, and kind of even before. I mean, Harry, you pioneered the drum, brother. So
Yeah, what you call, when I did the bucket list, I had no I didn't have any really equipment, so I ordered my little Weber Smoky Mountain for $300 from Amazon. They showed up on like a Tuesday. I went to my very first contest on a Friday, had no idea what I was doing, packed my little minivan with everything in the kitchen, showed up on site, had no idea how to do a contest, went to my neighbors and say, hey, what do I do? What do you do is you white styrofoam box. Well, why are you guys buying lettuce and parsley? What's that for? So I cooked the contest, and lo and behold, the little WSM, won the day, and I honestly could not believe it. I actually went back and scolded my coworkers again. Look at what you guys did. You sent me on this bucket list thing, and I ended up winning.
Now you can't get away from it.
You know the feeling. Once you get the adrenaline going and you go on stage and you get your walks, it's like a drug, right?
Yeah.
You want more of that drug.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I'm going out every weekend, having just a lot of fun, just cooking. And most importantly, I want to say that the barbecue world is special.
It is.
We will cheer as hard for our competitors when they win, and they will cheer as hard when we win. And there's a camaraderie. And if let's say if Lee beats me this weekend, I'll tell Lee, hey Lee, I'll get you next weekend.
Right.
That's kind of how guy pitmasters are. My women pitmasters, they are different. If they beat you, they not only want to beat you, they want to crush your bones into dust.
Yes, that's it. We'll be friends after, but when we're cooking, it's on, brother. So
no, I've had contests where teams have a bad brisket, right? It's got a slash in it. They go next door and say, "Hey, buddy, you got an extra brisket," and we just, we'll just give that brisket, and then next thing you know, they GC.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was that? That was Tuffy and Myron Mixon. Tuffy needed a brisket. He couldn't get one or something. And Myron like, all right, here, I'm going to give you, I don't want to give him my dang brisket. I've been killing it. And he gave Tuffy a brisket and he used it. He said he ended up winning. Tuffy won, and he's like, heck, I probably won't even get my money back for the brisket that I gave him. How was it? Did you ever get a chance to cook and hang out with Myron and stuff? I know
we were
you had
together
to.
for 3 or 4 months, right? So
okay.
Basically together every weekend. And people always ask me the question: is he the same in person as he is on camera? No. I will tell you, there's actually two sides of Myron. That's why he's so successful. I have zero talent. So I'm the same person you meet and the same person on the TV show. Myron has this great persona that he can project on camera that is irresistible. But right. off script and off camera, he's a super nice guy.
He is.
He doesn't want to. He probably doesn't want me to tell people that, but he's a big teddy bear.
He is. We walked up to him at the American Royal. I was a couple years ago, and Suzette, my wife, saw him, and she was like, he probably won't even talk to you. And I was like, I bet you if you walk up there and like, hey, Myron, how are you doing? I bet you he'll start talking to you. And he sat there and pulled her over and hugged her and talked. We sit there and talked for 15 minutes. He just kept on. And I was like, she said, well, I wasn't expecting that. And I said, baby, it's all for TV. You need the villain. You need the nice guy. You got to have, that's what makes good TV. So, well, Harry, it's just a neat story to hear, how it started from the movie. And I remember watching that movie probably 8 or 9 years ago, The Bucket List. It was a really, really good movie. And, you didn't do the first part, but you did the second one because
I did the first part too. So what happened was my coworker is a very talented singer. So she said that she wanted to enter the company talent show, and she said, Harry, I want you to be one of the Gladys Knight. I want to be one of the Pips. She was going to sing the entry to Georgia. She needed a Pip, so she gave me a little afro and said, put that on, put a suit on, and be one of my backup dancers. And I cannot dance, so I have 2 left feet. So during the lunch hour at work, she would train me and a couple of other my coworkers. And we went up on the talent show. We were completely left-footed. So when she was singing Midnight Train to Georgia perfectly, we were trying to do our thing in the back as the Pips. So the crowd was so, caught up. Everybody laughed at the dancers. And
Right.
then guess what? She wins the company talent contest.
That is
Unfortunately,
hilarious.
someone surreptitiously recorded us on their cell phone.
Right.
And they shared the video after. So I now have that video on my website because I
Oh,
want to tell
gosh.
people that in life, don't take yourself too seriously.
Right.
Because
Right.
we all live a temporary life. Life is going to end for all of us, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't take yourself too seriously. So if you do something stupid, just laugh it off and life goes on. Nobody
Oh,
cares.
yeah.
So anyway,
Nobody
that video
cares.
is on as a testimony to my comedy routine. So I didn't take a stand-up comedy class, but I ended up doing comedy as one of the Gladys Knights and the Pips wearing a big afro.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh. Man, I'm late. Did you know any of this?
I did not. I did
know
not
it.
know. It's good
I
to know
mean,
that he's a
Yeah,
Pip.
so go to my website on the About page, and the video
Okay,
is there.
okay.
So I shared it with the world, and she is just a terrific singer. But we were completely, behind the scenes. You can see us kind of doing our comedy routine with two
All
left
right.
feet.
I'm coming up here. So where's this at, Harry?
You go to let's see here. Where is it? Yeah, Harry's World, Pitmaster blog. Where is that thing here? Where is the about? Let me see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we reorganized the website recently.
They may have gotten rid of it.
If you scroll it down to the bottom, I know it's there somewhere because some people always send me chuckles because some people they find it and it's like one of those Easter eggs. They say, Harry, I didn't know you have this video. If you scroll down to the very bottom, maybe there's about Harry.
There we go.
Yeah, about. Yeah, go under about. And you scroll down. There's a video there. The time memorial. So the video is still there.
Is this it right here?
Yeah, you can play it. I mean, people find it real
This is hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't know if you could hear the audio.
Yeah,
Oh my
sounds
God.
good.
Could you hear the audio? That is awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you could hear it or not. I would have still. Everybody can go. It's at Harry Soo, and we're going real quick. Now let me see if I'm going to stop sharing. Let me see if I can get myself back over there. That is a really cool story. I mean, to see that they can it looked like y'all had a blast doing it. So.
Yeah, we brought the house down, and inadvertently, I guess they allowed my coworkers allowed me to count that as my comedy routine.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's comedy. That's definitely comedy.
Mhm.
Everybody was laughing. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm late, but what's up, Mike, Lee, and Harry? All I can say is, AJ, you need to catch it from the beginning. You're gonna find out more about Harry than I ever even knew about. So, wow. So you kind of got started. You was developing all of these rubs and everything. And real quick, I'm gonna kind of go back over to your homepage. I want to talk a little bit about that because I remember when I first started cooking competition barbecue before I even went to my first competition, I was like, man, I need to get some idea on like chicken, I mean, I didn't have any idea. So, I went in and I don't know how I found you. I don't know if I had seen you on TV. I can't really remember which one it was. But I remember that you was really like amazing in chicken. And I went in and I bought, I think you called it Jailbird. Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a big Elvis fan, so I kind of have a little bit of Elvis in all my little products.
Okay. So I went in and I think that was the first. And matter of fact, I'm almost positive I've got that bottle of rub sitting up there on my shelf from 2000 and probably 14 or 15.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna run over there and see. I would imagine it's gonna be in a bottle. I've got rubs stuff that's been around here, and I just remembered. I mean, I ordered it, and man, it tasted like amazing. And You know, I mean, it took me a while to kind of start figuring out things on chicken because IBCA cooking half chickens it's probably one of the hardest things there is of figuring out how to do it. But I mean, you have got a lot of different rubs. You've got pork rubs. You've got a competition pack. Um, Love me tender. Yeah, I guess you do love Elvis. I caught that right off the get go. It looks like you've got
Mhm.
some. You have sauces as well. How many different rubs do you have, Harry?
I ended up, I retired from my day job 2 years ago. So I built data centers for a living for 30 years in IT. So I retired from my job and I kind of jumped into barbecue full time now, just having a blast as a
Right.
retirement. And a lot of my proceeds, net proceeds from my barbecue goes to charity. So I'm kind of using barbecue to do philanthropy. I
Okay.
built like 10 different rubs because I have actually like a portfolio of 20 rubs.
Okay.
I put out 10 because I wanted to do different kind of rubs. For example, I have a beef rub called Mula that won first place USA KCBS Ranchers Reserve. But then everybody said, well, that's a competition rub. It's got paprika in it. What happened to your Texas Tech days when you cook with salt and pepper? So I decided I'll do a Texas brisket magic in homage to
Okay.
my alma mater, Texas Tech. So
Yep.
I started kind of putting out all these different products for different purposes. And people say, hey, Harry, I want to win in ribs contest. What kind of rubs do you have? So I blended like a porky-lish pecan. I blended a peach rub. I blended a cherry rub that works really well on the ribs and pork.
Right.
And then
Wow.
more recently, what I wanted to do is a lot of people cook with MSG in competition cooking. So I wanted to kind of do something a little bit different. So I did some research going back 2,000 years and found out how people create flavors
Right.
into their foods without using any additional chemicals like monosodium glutamate or MSG. So in my latest generation of rub, so I've now put the natural analog, which is basically a kombu seaweed. So a lot of people don't realize that the flavor profile from MSG wasn't invented in a lab. Mother Nature invented it thousands, millions of years ago.
Right.
So when Professor Ikeda at the University of Tokyo wanted to find a way to make rice more meat-like, he found out that seaweed has umami
Umami.
flavor.
Yeah.
And when you go to a Japanese restaurant, you see the green stuff floating in your soup. When you drink it,
Yep.
that little green stuff is actually seaweed. It's in there because the seaweed, which is kombu, has a very potent flavor compound. The fact that
Okay.
I'm talking now and you can understand and comprehend and remember what I'm saying is because that is in your body. So you
Okay.
have in your body, you have amino acids. One of them is called glutamic acid. So when glutamic acid combines with sodium chloride, you get a white salt called monosodium glutamate. So the white powder that Professor Ikeda scraped off the seaweed and tasted it, that's MSG.
Okay.
And what
That's interesting.
people don't realize is that you and I are here because of that chemical. So the human mother's breast milk has 8 times the concentration of MSG in the breast milk. So when the
Wow.
babies were born, Homo sapiens, we've only been around for 200,000 years. The babies that did not have the sensor for MSG in the mouth, they did not latch onto the mother's milk. They died. So you and I are descendants of Homo sapiens that have the receptor in our mouth. So we can taste that. So when we taste product that has MSG, MSG is naturally occurring. So when you eat that burger and that
Right.
cheese is dripping on the patty, that's what you're tasting. When you have marinara sauce, that's what you're tasting. When you have Caesar salad, the Parmesan cheese, that's chock full of MSG. You have soy sauce, you have Worcestershire sauce, all
Right.
this MSG. So it's actually a natural compound. It's just that we then refine it into a white powder and sell it cheaper than salt.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
That is.
people don't realize that because you have a receptor in your mouth, when you taste products that have it, that's why when I eat the Doritos, I stick my finger at the end of the
Oh
packet.
yeah. Yes.
I'm licking all the bits because they put that in there. But that
That
is
is.
the chemical form. So what I've done in my products is I put the natural form in there.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That is
So
awesome.
I'm a little kind of a little hacker in the sense of I'm a completely unlicensed chemist.
Yes. Yes.
But hey, it works, right? We know that in a contest, it's double blind. So
That's
if you
right.
do something in a contest and it works, you know that it's going to work in real life
That's right.
because you have 24 strangers eating your food at every
That's right.
contest. So if you
That's
end up
right.
on stage, it must mean something.
That's right.
So these
Right.
are all the tricks that I use in a competition circuit. So I just said, why don't I just put that in my rubs?
Yeah.
And then what is interesting, my rub is I continue to improve my rub. So it's kind of like software. So I released version 1. So you notice if you look carefully on all my labels, now I have V2.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then
That's
there's soon going to be V3 and V4 and V5 because I'm never satisfied. I'm constantly trying to make it better.
make it better. That's what you
Nice.
got to do. I mean, you literally have to do that to stay on top. So I'm always tweaking things myself.
So Harry,
So
when did you go from doing barbecue to chefy stuff? Because you're pretty talented in being creative on making different components for presentation and just amazing recipes.
I think the secret is I like to eat. So that's
Right.
how we started. And I enjoy cuisines from around the world. And when you enjoy cooking, I love to do what we call the pantry raid. So I'll come to your home during a session, and I'll just go to your pantry and grab whatever I can and cook a meal. That's what I did with Justin, Baby Back Maniac, T. Roy, Amen and Claim, him. So that's what I love to do. And to me, cooking is an expression of my kind of artistic side. I work in a very like data-oriented world. It's like IT, it's really computers and stuff. So I don't really have a creative outlet. So I realized that cooking brings me joy. So I always tell people, when you cook, don't worry too much about what you're doing. So long as you're having fun mixing and matching flavors and ingredients, and people are smiling when you serve them the food, that's all that matters. And a lot of times I travel around the world and teach a lot of classes. The number one problem I see is something we call GAS. GAS stands for Gear Acquisition Syndrome. People are paralyzed because they can't cook, because they don't feel that their pit has the right pedigree. It doesn't have the right fuel source. It doesn't have electricity. It has too much electricity. It doesn't work on the phone. It works on the phone. They are paralyzed by the equipment, the gear.
right.
They, instead of just going out and cooking, all
Yep.
you need is something as simple as a Weber kettle for $150, and you can cook a ton of food on it. Master your fire
Yeah.
management skills.
Yeah.
Master cooking on a manual grill before you go spend $50,000 and buy yourself a fully automated system.
Right.
It's all about cooking and having fun. Don't
right.
always listen to me. Don't listen to all the influencers out there. Just go cook and have fun.
That's it.
Don't
You got-
obsess over whether he's fat up or fat down. Just cook it.
Just cook it. That's it. That's 100%. I don't know how many times I've seen that. Fat up or fat down. Just cook
Yeah,
it.
I have a thing that I admonish all my students. So I've taught 300 classes in 15 years to 4,000 students personally, one-on-one, and they all know what I tell them. For every 1 hour of surfing the internet, you must cook 3 hours, because
Yeah.
there's so much information on the internet that's wrong. Because
Yeah.
some of the people on the internet, right, they're just putting stuff out there without understanding why.
Yes.
So I'm
Yeah.
one of those very annoying people. My teachers hated me because I'm the guy who keeps asking why is it up, why is it down, why is it black, why is it white. So for me, I want to know why,
Right.
because I think the why makes it so much more meaningful when you do something.
Right.
And you guys know that barbecues are playing golf, right? You can teach how to play golf, but that person's got to swing the club.
That's right.
Right.
That's 100% right. Wow. That is so cool. And you're right. I mean, I think that's it. I don't know if you know a little about me. I mean, I've got a big career in drag racing. I've set 2 world records. I developed a nitrous nozzle. I sold it to Edelbrock out in California, in Torrance, California. And, it came because I took a nozzle out that I had been using for years. I mean, there was 3 or 4 nitrous nozzles, and I found a flaw in it. It wouldn't itemize the fuel. I sprayed some brake cleaner and it splattered everywhere. And I was like, man, what the heck? How are they even calling this a nitrous nozzle? So, and the fuel was coming through a round hole. Well, you can't itemize anything pissing or stream. So I was like, got to fix this. So I was like, man, a car wash, it's got a little slit, and you pull the nozzle and it looks like hairspray coming out. So I redid the nozzle. I cut a slit in it. And man, I sprayed it with brake cleaner and it just like a mist. And the first race we went to, we set the world record. And I mean, crushed the world record.
Wow.
And it was just like, I made it for me, and then 4 years later, we was one of the fastest nitrous cars in the country, and I get a phone call from Edelbrock. They want to buy it. I was like, I won't sell it to you, but I'll license it to you. And they've sold that thing from 2001 up to about 2 years ago. And, but it's like you said, you gotta think outside, man. So it really is. And most people don't. So you got to get out. So don't necessarily, we all thought that was what you needed, like you said. I mean, forever, how many of that information is really right? Not a whole lot. And, we was going to the PRI show and the SEMA show. I was like, do you even know how this nozzle worked? Oh yeah, it works great. I was like, Okay, as long as you think that, it
Mhm.
doesn't perform right. But that's all that was out there. And we was all amazed that these people make this product, and we're like, your product don't work. I mean, it's got a flaw in it. So, and you, like you said, you got to do it yourself, and you can figure out the things. And that is, I think that's really vital. That's kind of, I took the drag race and stuff and all that technology, and I brought it to barbecue. So, and I think that's what you got to do. You got to think outside the box sometimes. So, and
One
you
of my
definitely
strong
have.
beliefs is don't believe no. The only way to know is to do.
That's it.
And then
Yeah.
people kind of tried me that I cook the brisket with tallow, right, 12 times. Why did I do 12 times? Because I wasn't happy with the result, and I'll keep doing something again and again and again until I understand what is happening.
Right.
So long story short, with the tallow experiment on the butcher paper, I found out that that works sort of, but the best thing to put on your brisket is actually pork fat. Again, going
Yeah.
back to my earlier saying, pork fat
Right.
rules. So if you use
Yeah.
bacon grease, your brisket will taste a lot better. And if you
Yeah.
try it in a competition, you might end up on stage more often.
Yeah. 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 Let's get that umami u- umami flavor.
Umami, umami, umami,
Umami
umami flavor.
flavor. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's a big difference. I mean people don't realize it's little things like that that can make a difference. So you've kind of, Lee kind of touched on it just a minute ago. You've kind of get in now. You're not doing competitions as much, but we're starting to see you more behind the scene at the World Food Championships and being a celebrity taste judge. And I know you got a chance to sample Mr. World Champion here, Mr. Lee Hickle,
Yes. Yep.
and he was at
Fantastic
the
entry.
World. Yeah, he turned in a steak, and man, he said him and Leanne. I think Leanne Whippen was there, and
Yeah,
Sonny
Tuffy was
Mooney.
there. The Dave Anderson was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
it
was
was
there. I
just
mean, I'll be honest. We all gave them perfect scores across the table. All five of us master judges, perfect score. That was
yeah,
a really, really the one of the most amazing experiences I've had the privilege to have.
yeah. So
Well, thank you.
how did you get into doing that, Harry? I mean, I'm assuming obviously you're a celebrity. They're looking for big name people to really judge. It's got a good palate, I'm assuming. And now all of a sudden, tell us a little bit about these World Food Challenges that they've got going and how that's working and how you're doing that.
Okay. I first ran into Mike McLeod about a dozen years ago, and he was just starting out. And Mike McLeod has built this franchise called World Food Championship. And what is unique about the World Food Championship is like over 12 categories of world champions, from sandwich to vegetarian to desserts to burgers to barbecue to live fire. So I think that he's doing something very unique. And what is nice about his format, I think that has many benefits, is that there is no fixed presentation. It's what you present. And the scoring system is based on the execution, appearance, and taste, and the execution has the highest weight. So it's no longer what I call the routine white styrofoam box 9x9, where everybody looks the same. And
Right.
if you've seen some of the pictures online, you see these amazing,
Oh,
amazing things that people do with their entries. You begin to realize that that is so much more exciting. When I go to a World Food Championship contest, I'm just so excited. I just came back from Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday, and we saw some of those amazing entries made by the teams. And it just allowed the chef to put their creativity, not be bound into a styrofoam box where
right.
you can't do anything except kale and maybe some with parsley and some lettuce. You can't do
Right.
anything else. Like you can't even put anything in there because it's considered a foreign object. In the World Food Championship, it's only limited by your imagination and the size of the oval plate, and you can stack it as high as you want, which is to me
Wow.
really really amazing. So I kind of got started in there because I know Mike, and people know me on the circuit. They know I'm very critical.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not afraid to voice my opinion, good or bad. And on
Right.
my YouTube channel, people tell me they know I have no production quality because I shoot all these videos on my phone, but they appreciate that I just tell you the straight. I don't have any diplomacy. I just tell you, hey, this thing sucks. Okay,
Right. Right.
unvarnished. And then I ended up judging for World Food, and they like my candor. And next thing I know, they say, "Yeah, we'd like you to, help us pick these winners." And to me, that is a supreme privilege, right? To be invited
Yeah.
to be one of the 5 people in the world to eat the best burger in the world, the best, live fire food, the best barbecue. It was truly an honor, and I think that I don't consider myself at the same level as some of the people on my stage, like Dave Anderson, Tuffy, and so on. But it's just really, really the great camaraderie that we all are after, this pursuit of excellence. And I don't think people appreciate how nuanced tasting food or cooking food is. Teams spend their blood, sweat, and tears and lots of money leading down that path. And you want to show them respect. You want to give them the proper assessment and dues that they deserve. And I think that if you have a person who understands how difficult barbecue is, who's judging you, and who's been on the competitor side, that lends some street credibility when you give them a perfect score. That you've been down that journey and you're judging that based on that journey, of how hard it is to create that perfect bite.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's good to have somebody like you that knows the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into any kind of competition and the money that is spent. A lot of time, of course, we're cooking for backyard judges, just people right off the street. I mean, IBCA, CBA, Outlaw, BCA. I mean, it's just, locals, come on, and sometimes, people get some kind of frustrated, like, a guy posted the other day in one of our forums, he's like, well, Judge one says it was too dry, the other one says it was too moist. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, you do nothing. That's their opinion. It's what you think. And, it just goes to show how polar opposites sometimes there can be. Just keep cooking it. If you think it's good, just keep cooking it and don't change anything. So it's just one judge's opinion. Nobody else dings you on it, so don't worry about it. But it's nice to know that when you have a really true professional cook, professional judge like you, that's going to, I like how you said it, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether it's good or whether it's bad. And I think sometimes people would appreciate that from a really trained person, because now you're getting probably a pretty good, okay, he's tasting something that offended him, or, or he really liked. Don't you agree, Lee?
Oh, no doubt. Like Harry said, you have the street credibility. You started from the ground and you worked your way up through the ranks, and it's an honor to have you here and even to meet you in person. So having celebrity judges at these events definitely makes it a whole better experience for the cook, knowing the value that we have in it to get there, because it does take a lot of money to cook the world food and all these higher end events. So it is nice to actually have somebody who is trained in the culinary experience and started from burning their fingers, lighting the pit to where you are now. So I agree. It's nice to have someone of your caliber judge our food.
Yeah. And I would have to think, and I haven't cooked one, but Lee, you can tell me, and Harry, you can too. If you come in and you did not win, or you finished third or fourth overall, you can at least say, these were pretty deadgum good trained judges. This was not somebody off the street giving me an opinion. These were 5 of the best. I know you, Leanne, Famous Dave. I don't know who else was. Sunny Mooney, I'm sure she was on that table.
She was.
I mean, that's some pretty good palates right there that knows what it is. And it probably would make it a little easier to, okay, I got beat. They didn't like it, compared to somebody off a street or somebody that don't have what we would call, street credit as far as a judge would be.
Right.
Yeah, my quote is always the judge said the pork was too porky. That pretty much explains that phenomena. The pork was too porky, and I graded you down. What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we scratch our head going, huh? So
I always tell people, I always advise my students, if they are not kind of resonating with the judges, right? Try minimum 3 times. Yeah. If all 3 times you kind of crash and burn, then it's time to switch your recipe.
Right.
But don't treat one contest as like the gospel. It's just an outlier.
Right.
If you, like you say, if you have a consistent program, it's hitting the mark, but you just end up with a difficult judging session, just lick your wound and move on.
Yeah, keep on. That's exactly it. Wow.
So Harry, then over the years with all your rubs and spices and sauces you have out, so you see then there's a change in palate with the judges. Is that why you're having to make some changes for version 1 to version 2?
Yeah, I'm always trying to improve, because I'm one of those funny people. I'm never satisfied. I feel I can do better, and I think that my learning curve has gradually improved, because the more I learn, the more I realize I know nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to make a better product. For example, in the sauce area, I could have made different sauces, but I decided that I would use the same Lego block system making the sauces. So I made the original sauce that I used to win. Then I created a Kansas City sweet. I created a Carolina tangy. I created a hot version. And what I do is now I can bring these 5 sauces to any contest, any region in America, and mix and match. Because we all know that when you buy a barbecue sauce, right, it sits in the refrigerator, and after 6 months or 9 months, you throw it away because you get bored with the flavor. So what I've done is I've created these Lego block systems where teams can mix and match. So for example, I won first place USA with my tangy and my sweet sauce half and half, with a little bit of hot burn to kind of spice it up. If I cook in other places where it's like super sweet, like Kansas City, I'll use just a cheeky sweet, add a little bit of maple syrup and honey, and add just a tiny bit of heat. If I'm cooking in California, it'll be a lot of heat because people like it spicy. So with that kind of system that I built, then I don't have to make a sauce for every contest. I can just bring these bottles and mix them like Lego blocks. And I always pay attention to what's in the judging tent. So if it's a bunch of old farts like me, I'll make it not spicy. Because if you're cooking for the retirement crowd, people generally don't like spicy. If I see a lot of women in the judging tent, I won't make it smoky, because women tend to not like smoke as much as men do. If I go to see the judging tent is a bunch of young people in goatees, then I make it super spicy.
Yeah.
So with this kind of system, you tune it according to your local conditions. And I always make it a point to go see look at the judges to see what is the demographic of the judges, and then tune my final presentation recipes accordingly.
Yep, that's smart.
I know you're a jealous devil man with all your cooks. Do you add any type of wood chunks, specialty woods that you kind of use?
My system is based on putting chunks underneath the charcoal. I like Jealous Devil because it burns really clean, a little bit, not ash, no ash at all, and very neutral flavor. So I can add chunks of wood like pecan or apple, hickory, and I put them underneath the coals so that I can smolder the wood and have them release the necessary gases, pyrolyze the lignin between 451 degrees to 720 degrees. So I'm kind of anal about those kinds of things. I use my wood from a local supplier. Her name is Patty. She runs the woodshed in Orange County, so I use wood from her. I'm very particular about the wood. I measure my wood to make sure it's 14% before I use it, so I have a moisture meter. So I'm kind of OCD like that.
Yeah.
I'm telling myself that I really don't need to be like that. But unfortunately, once you start cooking competition, your family and friends are used to it. Anything less than that, right? They look at you and say, hey, how come your barbecue has dropped in its standards, Because we didn't go through the 27 steps that we do to create a competition product.
Right. All right. So somebody asked a question. I think it's going to be kind of hard to answer this because we don't know everything. I scored a 42 on taste on the last 2 comps. The only thing I changed was the sauce profile. Any tips? And Chris, without knowing everything, it's really hard to give advice on something like that. What kind of protein, what rubs? I mean, the only thing I would say, Chris, is start with savory. If savory's not working, start with savory sweet or savory heat. You got to find that balance. Like Carrie was saying, California, they like really spicy stuff out there. If you come down here, they got savory and it better have some sweet on it. He also says that, the judges, I'm a big player of the judges. A lot of people don't even look at that. I do. So if I see somebody old, it's going to be one way. If I see somebody in the middle, it's going to be another way. So yeah, rib comp. Yeah. Once again, man.
Yeah. So I have a tip to add to that, right? So if you don't think you're resonating in what's happening in the judging tent, my best advice to my students who compete now is to be a judge.
Yeah.
Get into the judging tent, take a break from competition, go and switch sides, go to the judging tent and listen to what the judges are saying. Once the judging is done, they start talking and you say, hey, what do you think of these 6 entries for ribs? And somebody will say, oh, I like this. Oh, I don't like that. And this is all intel. So it's all a matter of science. And I have this concept I teach my students called the purple cow. So the purple cow means that if you drive along the freeway and you look up on the pasture and you see regular black and white cows, but somehow if you see one purple cow, your eyes get drawn to the purple cow. So the key to winning barbecue competition is cooking ordinary barbecue. I'll say that again, extraordinary ordinary barbecue. That's
Yeah.
what you need to do. You need to create your entry so it's ordinary, but there's something extraordinary. So if everybody's cooking one way and you follow the pack, you're not gonna be extraordinary. You can be like the black and white cows in the pasture. But if you so happen to produce a unique flavor, let's say you use some kind of like a mango note to your ribs, that the judges say, whoa, this one is a little bit extraordinary. It's ordinary, but it's got a hint of a fruitiness to it. Then they'll reward you. I use many tricks. Sometimes I put a little bit of mace into my ribs, and that mace gives a floral hint, and that completely changes the complexion. And then when people eat, they say, wow, this is a regular rib, but it's extraordinary.
Right.
I'm going to give it a perfect score because all the other ribs kind of taste ho-hum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because today, right, with the number of YouTube videos and instructors like me, everybody's level is like a 9.9.
Yeah.
You got to get to 10.
Yeah.
And the way you get to 10 is understanding the purple cow theory.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, Daryl. No. Somebody, you still putting tang on your ribs?
Well, let me say that the ribs sang to me. How's that?
That's right.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
All right. So Harry, I've got a trivia question that you're going to know it, and I'm going to ask this question. Okay. So, all right. So here's going to be our trivia question. The first person that gets this right is going to get our 20 championship backyard barbecue classes. I'm going to give them to you for 1 month. And the first person that I see coming across my screen, not what y'all see because my stuff's in real time. All right. In BBQ Pitmasters, Harry, we all know, cooked on a WSM. He was one of the pioneers of really getting to test one of the fan controllers on that we had ever seen before. It was way before the barbecue gurus that we see out there now. It was a white face one. It was the original, and then they came out with the black face. The first person that can tell me the name of the company that this fan-assisted temperature controller is going to win our 20 championship backyard barbecue classes. And if I recall, Harry was one of the first ones to actually get that system and use it. Dun, 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 dun. Boy, they are tearing up the internet right now looking at old freaking things of Pitmaster to try to find out. It was not a guru, so it wasn't that. Oh, man, let me see. Okay. All right, we're going to keep, let's kind of keep on. It's going to be kind of hard to do this, but pass it on to the next. Okay. All right, so Jason Pettis was the first one to get it. It was a Stoker. And he said pass it on to the next one. So Chuck, you was the next one that I seen it. And he had a Stoker. And the reason I know that, a lot of people haven't been up in the back of my trailer, but I have used a Stoker from the very first time that I ever cooked competition barbecue. I've got one of the blackface Stokers. And when I found out here 5 or 6 years ago that they were going out of business, I literally got on the Barbecue Brethren board and asked, anybody got any Stokers? I'm buying them. And I ended up I needed a 25 CFM fan for my big smoker. So I've got one 25 CFM fan plus, and you know what? I've still had the original fan for 12 years, 10 years that I've used the 25 CFM fan. And I still have it. I keep praying that they don't ever go out. I've tried to find replacements that'll work for it in case if it does, but I've got an extra one. I've got 2 extra units themselves. And Harry, do you have any of that old stuff left? Of the Stoker stuff?
I am actually using the same one you see on BBQ Pitmasters, believe it or not. That unit is 15 years old. And on Saturday, in my class on Saturday, I'll fire the unit. I will use it until it falls apart. I'm just amazed that when John Jackson, my buddy, who's an electronics engineer in Silicon Valley, when he built that system for himself, it was just a little hobby kit. And when I ended up on the show using it and then surviving that major storm in the middle of the parking lot, his sales just absolutely took off.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of what I call blower systems that people send to me, and I use them. But my favorite is still back to the original. And I'm surprised 15 years later, every class that you see me shoot my Instagram reel on, that's the same Stoker.
Same Stoker.
You saw on BBQ Pitmaster 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
What fan do you have? A 10 or a 25
I
CFM
have
fan?
the normal 10
The
CFM
10.
fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
That's what you use on the smaller
you know,
ones.
the thing that really burns out is the temperature probes.
Yeah.
So like you, I'm on the internet hustling people to try
Yeah.
to,
Yeah. I've got
beg
probably
and plead.
I've got 5 or 6. I think I got 5 of the probes, but they're all 10-foot. I need to cut them down
Yeah.
and make them. I need like a little 4-foot or 6-foot for the way that I use it. All right, Chuck. Well, you are the winner. I don't know if you have ever bought a class from Barbecue Champs or not. If you have, Chuck, just drop it in the chat and let me know. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to drop my email in the chat. Barbecue Champions at gmail.com. All right, Chuck. I just dropped my email in the address, bbqchampions at gmail.com. What I need you to do, Chuck, is just send me an email, put trivia winner, first and last name in the email, because I don't know if your email has your name in it. Put your first and last name in the email. I'm going to use the email address that you send to create the account. If you have an account, just put in there, I've already got an account, and I will get you hooked up, brother, and I'll add the classes sometimes in the morning when I come back in the office and stuff. So congratulations, Chuck. Yep. Jason got it first, but he said pass it to the next, and you was the next one. So I was sitting here thinking, I was like, man, I got to come up with a really good deal. And I thought about that.
What I'll do, Mike, why don't I send Jason and Chuck some barbecue love from me?
There you go.
If Jason wants to send you his contact information, like email and shipping information, I'll ship something to them tomorrow.
Okay.
Can I get some barbecue love from Slap Your Daddy?
There you go.
Like I say, talk is cheap, right?
That's right.
You got to use the product.
There you go.
I talked about the product, about the Lego block, so I'm going to send Chuck and Jason some barbecue love so they can actually see it in action.
Okay. All right, Jason, I need you to send me your email as well. Email me, and I'm just going to take it and just put on their trivia winner, and then I'm going to forward that to Harry. I've got his email address. Harry, I'm going to use the same email that I sent you the link to. Mm-hmm. And then Chuck, same thing with you. Man, I done lost Chuck Edwards. Well, if guys, I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't send me the email, I'm not going to remember this. So
yeah, if you want to copy me, it's Harry at slapyourdaddybbq.com. It's super easy to remember. Just Harry at slapyourdaddy. So just CC me on the email. I'll make sure that I get Jason and Chuck's contact info.
We'll get you.
And I'll ship them some barbecue love.
Yep, there you go. Chuck, I need you to send me your email. Jason, I probably have yours, but just send it to me anyway. Both of you guys, I'll forward it over to Harry. And he's going to hook you guys up, man. So I'm looking at this Sweet Cheeks. I've already got it pulled up, man. I always like to try different sweet rubs. So it looks good. Anyway, yeah, send the emails, guys. Man, Harry, I tell you what, brother, it was awesome having you on. It's quite a story, and we love stories like this. And, kind of a little bit about your history, but just all the things that you've done. I love people that really think outside the box. My gosh. That is absolutely awesome. So, congratulations on your success. And I'm going to grab this real quick.
Harry, where do you go to next after getting back from Kentucky?
Let's see. I have a Kids Q tomorrow to do for a corporate event. We're going to be doing Kids Q, which I love to do. It's for about 24 kids.
Right.
Headed to do a class on Saturday. And I'm heading to El Paso. I'm heading your way for the World Food Championship. I'm going to be judging in El Paso. So El Lino, awesome. The world champion, will be there. So I'm really looking forward to tasting his entry. So it's going to be super fun.
Awesome. Well, Harry, thank you so much for being on. If you're looking for his stuff, it's slapyourdaddybbq.com. Slapyourdaddybbq.com. Be sure to go check him out. Give him some love. And, man, it would be absolutely awesome to see him continue to go. Thank you, Harry, for everything that you've done in the barbecue world. We all appreciate it. And thank you for spending just a little bit of your time being on our show. We're definitely going to have to reach out to you again to get you back on the show in the future. So any final thoughts, anything that you want to talk about, Harry? Anybody
I think that I want to leave the audience with what they should do with life, right? So I always tell people that in life, you have 3 phases. When you're 20 to 40, your job is to finish college and then learn from as many masters as you can to be, whatever profession you train. When you are 40 years old to 60 years old, that's called phase 2. You take what you learn in the first 20 years and be the best you can be. Be the best father, be the best mother, be the best engineer, be the best accountant, be the best pitmaster, be the best mortician, whatever, right? When you hit 60, right, it's time to reach phase 3 and give it all away. So people can't believe that I'm giving away all my recipes online, the same one I used to win First Place USA. And I can tell you that that is transformative, not just to the people who receive the information, but it's transformative to you.
Right.
Because really, life is not about receiving, life is about giving. And if you have something, a talent, a skill, something special about you, when you hit 60, time to give it all away. And don't look back, because the love you hand out is like a boomerang. It goes out to the universe and it comes back and hits you on the side of the head way, way bigger than you possibly imagine.
Yeah, that's good. Good advice. Well, Harry, thank you so much for being here. Lee, as always, brother, appreciate you being on, our co-host tonight. And can't wait till next weekend. I hope everybody's enjoyed our show. Absolutely amazing to have Mr. Harry here. And anyway, it was really, really great to have you on, brother. Thank you so much. Continued success and blessings to you and your family as well. I hope everybody's enjoyed our podcast tonight. Lord willing, we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll have another one of our shows, and can't wait. And always enjoy these times with everyone. As we always close out our videos, y'all go out there, have a lot of fun, and